know we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
What up, folks? Welcome. It's a brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Catch us streaming live on the YouTube channel, also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and on Twitter. Your boy Trey Frazier here in the building. Got the homie Maestro Styles here this week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's good, man? How was your week, bro?
You know what, man? I made it my business to say I was going, chill this weekend, Martin Luther King 3-day weekend. And, and I did just that. And when I tell you, 3 hours in at my 9 to 5, and it's like I never rested at all, damn near.
Just today? Or going back to last week?
Just today. Like my first day back, off the 3-day weekend. Don't feel like I rested at all. But,
I was wondering where you were. I texted you a couple times over the weekend. I was like, oh, he's probably running around with the girls or, just got stuff going on or something like that. I
didn't see it at all. I didn't see it. I was literally just scrolling my text messages before we went on to see if there's anything I needed to know. I didn't see it. When I tell you, I was chill. I was trying to, I needed a break, and I don't feel like, I got it.
Oh wow! Even going back to the start of the weekend.
No. I mean, from the start of the weekend, my plan, get the kids. My plan was to relax 3 days, catch, obviously catch some games and relax. And I did. And again, I did relax. I didn't do anything this weekend. It just felt like I didn't do anything this weekend.
Yeah.
It just felt. But I mean, I went back to the grind today, and it's like 3-day weekend where.
Yeah. Well, lucky you, because I had to work yesterday on Dr. King Day. I had to work. However, I still had a 3-day weekend because I took some PTO Friday because I had to what did I do? I had to take Natalie to Atlanta on a plane, going, and then, flew back the same night, like, just, feel like on a red eye or something crazy like that. But that was cool. That was cool. I just picked them up from the airport earlier this afternoon. So Mom Dukes is here, for a few days, and, I got a birthday coming up.
Yes, sir.
In a couple of days, and certainly looking forward to that. Another year healthy, another year blessed. So I'm just, this week is pretty dope for me in that regard. But quickly, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our subscribers to our YouTube channel, because we've had a really great uptick so far this month. 8 new subscribers. A win is a win, no matter how many you get. But a lot of y'all been kind of tuning into our reels, weekly. I've been, posting daily like crazy, this past week and, weeks prior to that. But, we've been getting a lot of support in that regard, a lot of new, subscribers, just, getting in tune with us and all that. So shout out to y'all. I mean, shout out to, the people that, tune in. I mean, even if it's, whether it's on some of our other platforms too, but, YouTube, we've seen an uptick in our followership in terms of that. So just want to say, appreciate everybody that's been supporting us.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully we give you guys some entertainment talking amongst each other. About the weekend sports every week. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what I do.
No doubt, man. I guess not a lot this week. Just some head coach changes, and I guess we'll talk about the games over the weekend, which I kind of thought wasn't really the greatest weekend of games. I thought the wild card games were a lot better than this week's, but I mean, there are a couple of games we probably gonna dig deep into, but I guess we got to talk about the coaching carousel a little bit here. John Harbaugh, former Ravens coach, officially is now the coach of the New York Giants. A move that a few of my followers have been paying attention to and have kind of called it a week prior to. Had to iron some stuff out contractually, but they made it official. Guess they had a presser today introducing him to the fans and to the team and the media and all that stuff. So yeah, John Harbaugh, coach of the New York Giants. Your initial thoughts on that move for the Giants?
Good. For the Giants,
Mm,
I mean, I don't feel, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I mean, John Harbaugh is a good coach. They got a good young team coming up, so I mean that's a good move. But to be honest, I feel like anybody coming into that situation would be coming into a not like the best situation, but a pretty decent situation. Good
hmm.
defense, young quarterback, young wide receiver, young running back. You know what I'm saying? Like like they that's a good situation to walk into for any new coach coming into a situation. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I seen it. The 5 years, $100 million, and was like, oh, this is going to be it, and the Giants are going to take this this turn in the NFC East. I mean, and not that I don't believe they could compete in next season or the next 2 to 3 seasons. It's just like that. It just didn't. I didn't look at that and say, oh, that's it. That's it. That's the move. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? But
hmm.
shout out to the Giants. Shout out to John Harbaugh.
So out of the openings, and a couple of openings have opened up since the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that, but I think out of all the openings, this one was probably top three, maybe top four at best. Just because from watching the Giants, and I've watched some games this past season, and they played competitive games.
Mm.
They blew a lot of leads. The most notable one was the Denver game, where I think Denver scored like 30 something points in the fourth quarter. After the Giants, thoroughly outplayed them for 3 quarters. They have talent. Like the
Yeah.
moment they put Jackson Dart in there, and what he's done and what Scatterbo has done, even without Malik Neighbors, who they're gonna get back this offseason. It's a lot to look forward to. Defense is good. Certainly can improve on that side of the ball. And I kind of side with you. Like I think anybody could have went in that situation and they would have been going into a situation where you have some talent on the rise there. I think in the case with John Harbaugh getting this job, John Harbaugh, he's a culture setter. Um, he's not really an X's and O's guy. He's a special teams coach, as as we all know here. Um, he's going to turn the culture around in New York. From what I believe and what he's done with the Ravens, the first time he got to Baltimore, he's going to turn the culture around. Now, I've warned some of my folks up there, like you're gonna be frustrated some weeks, especially with some of the post game stuff and the things he says, and the fans don't know shit and all this and all kinds of stuff. Not that he said that, but like he talks as if he knows what he's doing. And look, I've lived it for 18 years, rooting for the Ravens and stuff while he was the head coach and stuff. So I, just been letting people back home know that this is a good hire. It's definitely a good hire. It's a culture setter. He's gonna set the tone there, but after a few years, you're most likely gonna be tired of it. And this isn't Baltimore media anymore. This is New York media, and they're not gonna back down. So that's pretty much what I got as far as the Giants are concerned.
Yeah. Shout out again. Shout out to them. When you say, you mean like he's smug? Like when you say he act like the fans don't know what they talking about?
So the famous phrase that he said, maybe it was last season or the season before that, was we don't care about I'm paraphrasing, we don't care about the fans on the end of the bar. Basically saying,
Oh.
hey, you just a fan watching the game. You don't know any better than the coaches do or anybody on the team does. So
Well,
that's kind of what that was. That's kind of what that was in response to.
oh, well, I ain't mad at that. Shit, and I hope he says more of that. To be honest with you, I ain't mad at that. That's actually pretty fucking accurate more times than it ain't.
Yeah, well, it depends.
We
It
don't, we
it
don't like
it
we
depends.
don't.
Well, because we've been saying all year long, hey man, number 77 on that right side, he's shaky, bro. But every game he gets to start, and every time somebody questions him about it, he's like, "Up, this is the best offensive line we got. This is the best, starting, five of offensive linemen we have here." No, it's not. No, it's
Mm,
not. So,
okay, I
it
mean,
depends.
yeah,
It
yeah.
depends.
I
It
mean,
just
that's one
depends.
thing. I mean, he's been well to have an 18-year career. He's been right more than he's been wrong. If we're talking about how fans feel as opposed to how he
Yeah.
feels.
I'm not saying it's all the way, the
Yeah,
fans is right all the way 100%. I'm not saying that, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
when
just
you
saying I'm not mad at a coach who says, "Hey, I don't give a fuck about your opinion. I'm gonna do what I want to do because I'm the professional here that's getting paid millions of dollars to do a job." I can respect that.
yeah.
I can respect
Well,
that. It's like that's like somebody coming to my job and telling me how to do my job. It's like
yeah.
Slim, this is my job. Like I got
Well,
hired to do my job.
I hope for his sake, if he says that in New York, I hope he wins. Just win, bro. You can say anything you want. You better win.
Damn near
You,
do anything you want if
you,
you winning.
you better yeah, exactly. You can say whatever you want. You better win up there, cause
I
is
mean,
you better win up there, bro.
let's
Um,
say he doesn't win in 2 years. He's fired, and then what? Do you think he doesn't get another
I don't
head
think I
coaching
don't think he's
job?
fired after 2 years. I
No,
don't
no, no,
think
no,
he's.
no, no, no. I'm throwing a scenario out there. I'm saying like,
Oh, okay.
what if he does terrible after 2 years, gets fired? Do you think his ability to getting a head coaching job is like do you think he'll be kind of demoted to coordinator status at that point
At that point, yeah. At
after
that
two
point, like,
years in New York?
I could see and look, all respect due to Pete Carroll and what he did with the Seahawks, but we saw what happened in Las Vegas this year. I mean, that was kind of touted as okay, Pete's coming to change the culture in Las Vegas, and he had Geno Smith. All respect due, but it was bad. It was bad football playing in Las Vegas, and somebody had to go, and they let Pete Carroll go after 1 year. So I don't
I
think
don't think that's the
anybody's
same
looking to coach Pete.
situation.
I don't think anybody's looking to pick up Pete Carroll as a head coach this offseason, in my opinion. But
But I don't think that's based off what he did in Las Vegas either.
no, of
um
course not. No, of course not.
I
You're
think
right. It's not the same thing. You're right.
right,
It's
yeah,
not the
okay,
same thing.
yeah.
It's because you said 2 years. If John Harbaugh doesn't win in 2 years, and if he gets fired, could he get another job after that? I don't. I just don't see it that way. I think he gets some kind of demotion
Hmm.
somewhere else. Now I could be
So
wrong. I could
no,
be wrong, but
I don't have
yeah.
a real opinion. Well, listen, I'm lying. I do have a real opinion. I think John Harbaugh has done enough in Baltimore to
Mhm.
earn a extra job or two if things don't go well in New York.
Okay.
I think he's earned a job or two.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
look, we'll see. And like I said, I thought Pete Carroll. I think I felt the same way about Pete Carroll. Like everything he did with Seattle, and then to be able to get that job in Las Vegas. Look, I thought it was a great thing. I thought he was gonna, you know, I thought he was gonna make them better. And you're right. Roster's different than New York. They got the
The
number one
goals
pick.
are different. I think the goals are different in Las Vegas from New York. I mean,
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, quite frankly, they are looking for money grabs, and no shade to Pete Carroll, legendary career, all the things. Pete
Hmm.
Carroll is one of the older coaches in the league. I mean, you alluded to it when he got hired. It's like, cool, I'm all right. I don't mind seeing it, but it's like he's
Yeah.
old. He's not, that's not like maybe he ain't as sharp as he was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of that showed in Seattle that maybe he wasn't as sharp as he was when he was in his prime in Seattle. And I think the thing about Las Vegas, I think the goals. I mean, obviously the goal they want to win, but they not talking about.
They're going about it differently.
They want to get fans and seats. And name, so it's like a clout thing. Pete Carroll is a decorated coach that they can market. You know what I'm saying? I think it was more about that, and for him to come in and I don't know what attendance looks like in Vegas, but they're not winning games. They're not even playing good football.
Right.
And I think that has more to do with his firing, because it's like, all right, you're not even bringing fans to the seats. I think that's what I think about when I think about what happened with him in Las Vegas. And now this is obviously, I don't know what the attendance look like. I just know that the Raiders haven't played a exciting game all year that I know about. And I think that's the vibe in Vegas. Is like, that's an entertainment city. And for football to not be entertaining, it's like, well, what are you here for if you're not even going to give us entertaining football? It don't even necessarily have to be. Didn't even have to necessarily be winning football. Meaning, like, they're in the playoff hunt. But
it's like the concept. It's like the Lakers concept, right? Like,
right, exactly.
Hey, we need the highest of the high in terms of head coach, because fans ain't gonna come to the game and watch a filthy ass product. Like, there's things to do in LA. There's things to do in Las Vegas. So I kind of see that point there. But you mentioned something about attendance, and I'm thinking about the Giants, and I'm thinking about some of them games I watched, particularly their home games, and their attendance just has not been the greatest either. I mean, you're talking about and again, I think it's different situations.
Right.
But I think that Harbaugh, I think, is gonna get fans excited to come to games now. Like, I think that whole thing is going to change, because look, it's hard to get to East Rutherford, New Jersey. Like, no matter where you're coming from, the island, the boroughs, like, it's hard to get there. Like, it's difficult to get there. Ain't nobody trying to travel an hour and a half just to watch, nasty product. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I think the Giants,
Harbaugh changes that.
Yeah, maybe for the first 3 weeks if he's not winning. But I think what it's going to be predicated on is how fast can he turn this team into a 7-8 seed. How fast can he do that? I think that's what attendance is going to be predicated on in New York, as opposed to a city like Las Vegas, where it's like, give us exciting football, make some stars, make some names, that type of thing. Where in New York, I think because they have a history of, not necessarily, I won't say winning football, but have had a history of winning football. They've had a history. You know what I'm saying?
It's just been so long, man. It's been so bad for a decade.
Football. Yeah, I think Dallas is another example of kind of similar to Las Vegas. Like, if the football is exciting, they're coming to see the games. Whereas opposed to, other cities like New York, like, nah, we want to see some wins before we go all the way in.
Yeah. But I think if you're a Giants fan and you thought about not renewing your PSLs, I think John Harbaugh's hire, I think, has made some people change their mind about that. So I think they're in good hands, at least for the first, few years there. So, shout out to him.
Rumors that Ted Monken is going to be in New York.
Todd Monken.
Todd Monken, I'm sorry.
That's been swirling around. Nothing official on that. I also heard about Zach Orr possibly joining him, Anthony Weaver, who we used to have on the staff, but then took a job with the Dolphins last year. So there's some candidates out there for the Giants.
Went on his second interview in Pittsburgh. Anthony Weaver did. So
I like him as a really good candidate for a lot of these jobs that that's been opening up. Anthony Weaver is a name to be looked out for where that's concerned. A couple other hires. Rob Saleh takes the Tennessee Titans head coaching position. Any Thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, the Titans have a decent defense. I would like to hope that he can elevate that, but it really is really going to be predicated on the weapons they put around Cam Ward. We need to find out if this guy, meaning Cam Ward, is going to be or is a franchise quarterback or not. And
Right.
to be honest with you, defense could be top notch, but if the offense can't put up no points, it's not really going to make a whole bunch of difference. So I can't really say that this hire either, makes me excited for the team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we've seen he had his little stint in New York Jets, but I know the Jets is kind of their bad
It's a
situation.
different
So
animal.
I get that. So I do shoot him a little bill on that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like, nah, this don't move the needle for me.
Yeah. Titans ain't far from that though. Tight in terms of stability and dysfunction, they not far from it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, but I just for me it's just like when I look at the team on the field, like decent defense, but the offense ain't gonna be able to take. They don't have nothing around Cam Ward to build on for real. So if that offense ain't gonna get no better, I can't expect that defense to get much better. Because ain't nobody gonna score points. Defense gonna be on the field all day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna judge the roster just yet, just because free agency hasn't come up yet. The draft is coming up in April. So
well, I didn't say that to judge the roster. I said that to say that Robert Saleh doesn't move the needle for me because I don't know what the roster is going to look like. And if I'm basing the roster off of anything that happened last year, like, do I think, and obviously I know this won't be the case, but if this is the team that they put on the field next year, Robert Saleh is not going to have a good first year.
Which it won't be. Which it won't be because they're going to make moves. They're going to make moves. There's going to be a draft. So they're going to make moves. They got cap space. You know what I'm saying? Like
But when you say make moves, you mean what? Like, are they going to get a pure number one wide receiver? You know what I'm saying? Like
no, sure. Those are questions. Those are legit questions. I think the one thing I think I'm positive about is that they're not going to run it back with this same exact roster.
Well, nobody does that.
They're going to. That's what I'm saying. Like, those are legit questions about who they pick and how it's going to fare out and how it's going to blend with the team. Those are fair questions. For me, with this hire, because I was thinking you get an offensive coach to work with Cam Ward, build him up, train him, develop Cam Ward.
Yeah.
I was thinking they would have gone the offensive coordinator route in terms of, getting somebody to be the head coach there. I always thought Robert Saleh would get a job eventually. I didn't think it would be this one though. I didn't think it would be this one. So, but one thing I think is going to be entertaining is if you remember the little dust up between him and Liam Cohen. So they get to meet 2 times a year. In division play. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there.
We shall see.
Pre-game and post-game.
We shall see.
Yep. So the Dolphins. So I don't know what the hell the Dolphins are doing, but we know Mike McDaniel's out. We know they fired Chris Greer earlier in the season. So they got some people from the Packers staff. So Jeff Hartley, I think is his name. I might be mispronouncing his last name.
I thought it was like Lafley or something.
Lafley, something like that.
Lafley, something like that.
Yeah. He coached the defense in Green Bay. I think.
Yeah.
So he's the head coach. And quite honestly, I really don't have much an opinion on, that particular hire. It's an unknown, really, because this is his first time being a head coach, so it's really kind of on the unknown side of it.
Halfley, by the way.
Halfley.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just don't.
I
don't know.
I knew who he was. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him, especially when Micah Parsons came around and the defense was dominating. There was a lot of talk about him getting a head coaching job, later on in the year, that as well, basically. But I mean, much like these jobs, like Saleh before him, and not so much Jim Harbaugh, but it's just like you get a good coordinator that goes to a team that's in complete melee. It's like, I don't know these guys from anything outside the fact that they had a decent defense where they left, and and we shall see. But I mean, Miami, like, it's that situation where it's like, damn, I need a head coaching job. I want to be able to get a head coaching job, but this is a trash ass job to have and have to walk into because
there's questions about the quarterback. They trying to offload his contract somehow, some way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just start there. Like, you walking into a situation where maybe you're thinking you got a quarterback and you probably don't,
but there's no way I can't. I mean, from the outside looking in, I mean, couch GMs, as I like to call it. Nobody looking at Miami Dolphins games look at and feel like, oh, Jeff Hafley or Hafley is going to have Tua Tagovailoa to be his starting quarterback in 2026. We would all be very surprised if he was the quarterback going into the season next year.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I would be shocked just because it's a new head coach and it's a new general manager, and usually when you get those two positions filled in the same offseason, they're going to want to change a lot of things. And one of those things is going to be this quarterback spot, which, look, the owner want to get rid of Tua. So, I think everybody's on the same page in regard to that. But I'd be shocked.
Yeah. But then, who comes in and plays quarterback? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I mean, as much as everybody want him gone, and I would, if I was a Miami fan, I would agree. Who comes in behind Tua? Who comes in and makes this team competitive? It just makes this team competitive, next year. Yeah. So it's like, that's a tough situation. No coach in their first job. That's not a dream job to walk in and not have security at quarterback, and to have these weapons. I mean, while Tyreek Hill is aging, he's still Tyreek Hill, and I mean, Waddle's young, but A-Chain. They're gonna have some guys. They got weapons. They definitely got weapons on offense and defense for that matter. But quarterback. That's one of them teams where quarterback maybe more than. I mean, quarterback is important on every team, obviously, but can I win in spite of? Everybody ain't Mike Tomlin,
Why do I have visions of Kyler Murray in a Dolphins jersey? Because Arizona, I think they made it pretty clear that they're going to move on from Kyler Murray. It's just a question of how do they,
But then it's the same question, right? Like,
it's the same question with them too. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yep. So, I mean, more so if your theory is right, and he goes to Miami, like, not trying to be funny, like, he don't have the concussion issues, but it's like, is this guy much better than Tua on the field?
He may not be much better than Tua, but I think the weapons and the skill positions in Miami are better than what he's had in Arizona.
Sure. Do you think that Kyler Murray is going to be able to take advantage of those weapons, is what I'm asking?
He can. I think he's capable of. Sure. Yeah, I think he's capable of. Yeah, I think he's capable.
I mean, I don't know. I'll say I don't know. Look, again.
You got weapons like that, I would think so. Yes, I get it. Some quarterbacks just aren't good enough to take advantage of it. I don't know that I see Kyler as that guy that can't take advantage of it.
I don't look at Kyler Murray and say, and you're right that he hasn't. That this would be the most talented team that he's played on offensively in the pros. But I don't look at Kyler Murray just based on his, 5 or 6 years, however long he's been in the league, and I don't look at this guy and say, that guy got a future to being a top 15 quarterback in the league.
Because think about it this way. Tua never really ran like that. Like, he never really escaped the pocket like that. Kyler Murray, for most of his career has been a guy that, hey, look, if you give him a lane, he's going to take it. He's going to take off and run. True. So you put him in that offense with Jalen Waddle, Devon A-Chain, Tyreek Hill. That's an offense that on on the surface looks a little scary. If Kyler Murray is
I mean, if
Kyler
you're running,
Murray,
if you're running RPOs with a chain, like
yep,
but I think for me, what it still really does come down to, you know, call me old fashioned in this sense. You're gonna have to make some throws, and I ain't talking about a incident. I'm talking about the key throws. I'm talking about
yeah,
the the throws that's like while I'm not ready to call Bo Nix a top 10 quarterback, he certainly made some throws. Or
mm-hmm,
Drake May, he certainly made some throws in these playoffs so far. That's like,
yeah,
okay, like that Hunter Henry and that Hunter Henry throw in the wild card game is like
yeah.
I'm not, you got to be able to make those throws. Sometimes I look at Kyler Murray and wonder when it's for all the chips, is he going to be able to make that throw?
Yeah, I mean, you saw some of it with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. has kind of had his own sets of issues over the course of the season with drops and not getting the targets and things like that. So I mean, half of it could be him, half of it could be Kyler Murray's ability to get the ball down the field. But look, I kind of like it. Like I could see
Okay.
that being an offense that you're like, if they can run it right, if they can, scare the defense a bit, yeah, it's an offense on paper that should be able to do some things. But I agree with you. I think we haven't seen enough of it with Kyler Murray in terms of can he
Yeah.
make those throws, when necessary. Not to say that he doesn't have the ability to throw. It's just more so like when the running game ain't working, when the RPOs don't work, when you get shut down, when it's 8 carries for 8 yards on the ground.
When they daring you to throw the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I don't know I just don't know. And for Kyler Murray's sake, I hope I'm wrong. But I don't believe that at this stage of the game, and like I said, 5 years in, people could turn around in their 5 to 8
Yeah,
year,
change the scenery,
yeah, sure,
different
it can happen.
people,
It can happen, but
yeah, for sure.
you know,
No, for sure, for
but
sure.
but for certainly, because all that is a wish list for Halfley right now.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But nothing on paper right now makes me feel like this is the job. Like Jeff Halfley wanted a job. This is the job you got, and
Hmm.
you thankful for the job you got. But it's not like I'm looking at this and like, oh, Miami's getting ready to turn a corner and be a competitive football team all of a sudden.
Right, right.
I just don't see that right now.
Nah, I agree with you. And I was just thinking about another name, and before we move on, just quickly, another name that I thought about that maybe they could replace Tua with, Malik Willis, because we've talked about Malik Willis earning some money during those couple of games he played in relief of Jordan Love this past season. Um, he's coming from Green Bay, which is the same place where Jeff Halfley's coming from. Maybe he pulls some strings, with the general manager in the front office and says, "Hey, you thinking about a quarterback option? We know there's not a lot in the draft. Malik Willis maybe is somebody that we might be able to bring in, and he won't cost $50 million. You know what I'm saying? You'll still be able to, put some players around him, and particularly on defense in that situation. So just a thought, nothing to
Yeah.
really like expand on, but
You
that's
best
another name
bet.
that I thought
Yeah,
about.
but pass game coordinators have been really popular in the coaching pool. You
Hmm.
best better bring that pass game coordinator along with you.
Facts.
Mm.
Facts. And I guess the big news to come out of the playoffs, the Buffalo Bills, they fire Sean McDermott after 9 seasons with the Bills. I think 8 of those 9 seasons they were playoff bound. Won a playoff game every year since 2020, I believe. Um, so I'm not surprised with this one,
Hmm.
because this is one of those jobs where when the playoffs started, you thought, okay, Pittsburgh could change the coach, Philly, if they're crazy enough, could change the coach, Buffalo could change the coach if they don't get to their goal, right? And obviously they didn't get to their goal. which we'll talk about the game. But I'm not surprised that they let McDermott, though. What I am kind of shocked about is that general manager Brandon Beane didn't go out the door with him, because we've talked about this roster on several occasions not being a good enough roster to be able to take the next step to get to a Super Bowl. I guess there was a story out there in the not off season, but mid-season, where they had a chance to get Jalen Waddle. I know that's been something that was talked about, even though I never thought the Dolphins was doing that. They could have offered 3 firsts. The Dolphins wasn't doing that. That's the enemy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just on principle. You're not making that kind of a move. But still, they could have made some other moves to help improve the team. So not shocked that McDermott's out, but am shocked that they kept the general manager and they gave him a promotion on top of that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shocked that they let go of Sean McDermott. That team is well coached every single year, and their only sin is not having proper talent on that team. That's their only sin. That's the only thing. If anything, it should have been reversed. Brandon Beane should have been fired, and you should have let Sean McDermott continue to keep his program along.
Yep.
That team is well coached every single year, and I think they got this backwards, and I think they're going to, and I think they about to fuck up the next good, these last really good Super Bowl prime years of Josh Allen. I think they about to mess this up. I don't. Who do you bring in? Who do you bring in that with that chemistry, with that thing? I think they really messed this up for their franchise and for Josh Allen to get a Super Bowl.
So it's similar to the Ravens situation, right? Because you got a franchise quarterback, you got a 2-time MVP. This is a win now roster. It's the same thing in Buffalo. This is a win now roster. So you're looking at coaching candidates and you're looking around and you're like, okay, who
you gonna bring in that's gonna change this?
Who are you bringing in that's gonna come in and get to a Super Bowl in a year or two? Like, who's doing this?
Especially when you kept the guy who's responsible for bringing the talent in.
Yeah, right.
You kept them. So for all intents and purposes, unless they told him, "Hey, bro, you got one more chance to get this together, or you going out the door next," or we don't know what happened in these offices with the door closed. But you know what I'm saying? The way I see it is that Brandon Beane is still going to not bring in a number 1 wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Like that back end is still going to look suspect, and they play well, but that back end on paper looks suspect. Ed Oliver. I know he was injured a lot, but you know what I'm saying. But he'll be back. So the running game, I like to think the running defense will be a little better next year. But at the same, it's just like but really in the midst of that bad defense, that wasn't the problem. The problem is that when they need to score points, if Josh Allen don't get it for you, you normally more times than not going to get it, and that's the problem. You need at least one other person on that offense that's going to take it over and go get it. And
so I think another way to look at it too, because I do agree that aspect of the offense is a problem. But when you look at some of their losses in these playoffs, and we talk about the 13 seconds, and we talk about all those other L's he's took against the Kansas City Chiefs, defense for the most part hasn't made the stops that they need to make the stops to get to where they got to go. I think it's been more on the defensive side than it is on the offensive side of the ball. But I do agree with you that if you were to pick apart, offensively, yeah, they could certainly use a number 1 receiver. And even all those years they had Stephon Diggs. I mean, Diggs was was their number 1 guy, and they still wasn't able to, get over the hump. And also, they haven't replaced him. They thought Keon Coleman was supposed to be that guy, and Keon Coleman has
I
had his
don't
problems.
know, and I don't know who thought. And I ain't no shade to Keon Coleman. I don't know who thought that. I didn't look.
Yeah.
We not super college football watchers over here, but I didn't watch. I watched a little bit, and I ain't look at this guy and be like, oh yeah, that's the one right there. And and as he played and as he went on, it's like, nah, he's not doing nothing crazy that's gonna make you feel like, oh, he's about to evolve into a number one wide receiver. And then you continue to pick up guys like, and no shade to Amari Cooper. You pick up Amari Cooper 2 or 3 years ago. Then you pick up Brandon Cooks mid-season this year. Like, you keep on picking up these quasi number 2 receivers for real. And again, that's no shade to Amari Cooper. It's just what he had in his career to me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you pick these guys up and like,
I forgot he was there.
Yeah, like this is like 2 years ago. He ain't there now. I'm just but you pick these guys up like they're gonna, on the back of Josh Allen make these key plays, and Brandon Cooks missed out on a key play, missed out on some key plays last week. I get it. They eventually, got it done, and they got it to overtime, and the game happened how it happened.
Yeah.
But that's not generally how you want to go about it in the playoffs. Like, that's a team that you want to put to bed, and put to bed at regulation, and they had plenty of opportunities to get this game, get it not out of hand, but get it. Where we kind of riding off the sunset, as opposed to, man, we left too much time on the clock, or that type of thing. So this is going to be bad for Buffalo. This is going to be bad for Buffalo, and I fear. Shout out to the Buffalo fans out there. Shout out T. I fear that, and I know I made this prediction like 2 years ago and I had to eat a little crow, but I fear that this might really, really be the kind of and look, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. It just is what it is. But, everybody wants that Super Bowl.
And you say all that about, what happened in that game, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I'm not gonna let this dude skate, because Josh Allen had every bit of hand in that loss as did them pass catchers did. Turned the ball over 4 times, man. Like, he got to eat some of that.
Sure. But the thing that's a little bit different, and you're right. Let me be clear that you're right. But
the energy's got to be for him, because if people are gonna, and this is not towards people I know on the timeline. This is towards mainstream media that, whenever Lamar loses a game like that, they be killing him. They be killing him in the media. Keep that same energy for Josh Allen too, because he hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl also. Yeah, he had a hand in that loss on Saturday. He had a huge hand into that.
But I do wanna separate Josh Allen from Lamar Jackson for a second. Not because and let's be very, very clear before I say what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
I believe Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. That's Maestro Styles' belief. But with that being said, when the thing about quarterback is that you can have a 4 turnover game, but if you put your team in position to win at the end of the game, then we'll overlook those 4 interceptions. And traditionally, what happens is, or what has happened when we're talking about Buffalo is, and you said it earlier in your
now you're saying if they win, the game, we overlook the 4 interceptions.
We kind of if Josh Allen put them in position to win the game, we're kind of willing to overlook it, because we'll say, because you gotta let me finish my point though.
Go ahead,
because he dueled them back into the game. It's not like somebody got them back into the game. He made the mistakes.
No, the defense did too. The defense, they got a couple turnovers on Bo Nix that kind of got him back into the game there. So then
Josh Allen still does in turn have to do what he does.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying. Look, in no stretch of the imagination am I here trying to absolve Josh Allen of his mistakes. I'm saying that when you are when you're the main focal piece of the offense, not just quarterback, but the main weapon on the offense. So it's like if you are the Rams. Matthew Stafford is the main focal thing, but you also got a Puka Nacua. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Whereas that defenses have to say, "Oh, I'm concerned about him." You know what I'm saying? On Buffalo, no shade to James Cook, it's Josh Allen.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it. And that's it. So the game lives and offensively lives and dies by Josh Allen. If he's having a good game, then they're having a good game. If he's having a bad game, then they're having a bad game. If they're having a bad half and turn around and have a decent half, it's because of Josh Allen. So
see, and that's where I think that's where we differ just a little bit, because and maybe generally speaking that's the case, but I'm just looking at what happened in Denver on Saturday.
Okay.
And, what happened in Denver on Saturday? Yes, he got the 4 turnovers. You know, they were down big in this game, but they got back into this game because of not just Josh Allen, but they got back into this game because James Cook was running the ball pretty good. And you know, if you remember what I said, if they're gonna get to the Super Bowl, he can't put the cape on, you know, for 3 games on the road. James Cook gonna have to have one of them 100 and something yard games for them to get to where they gotta go. And he did have that on Saturday. I forget what the final number was, but he did get over 100 yards rushing there. So James Cook helped them get back in the game. The players on defense, because they got a couple of them turnovers from Bo Nix, you know, those guys helped him on defense. So he had help. He had enough help around him to put him in position to be able to pull that game out. It's just that those plays in the end, it just didn't work itself out.
Yeah. So I think what I'm saying at the end of the day is that and I don't and maybe you feel like maybe I think what I hear you saying, and I get your talk specifically to the Denver game. I get that. I'm just talking. I guess I was speaking more broadly around the entire Josh Allen era.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about that. When he does play bad, yeah, Buffalo doesn't, you know, generally win.
I'm saying when he even has when he has good games, and then the defense, and then you know Tyreek Hill slant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you know that type. You know that. So I'm saying that I think Josh Allen's legacy so far has been more about leaving too much time on the clock than it is leaving too much time on the clock for the other offense than it has been about him not performing well. That's what I'm saying, and I don't think that's the thing that's being said about Lamar Jackson. That's what I mean when I say I want to separate them as far as where Lamar is in his career and where Josh Allen is in his career.
Right. I think because Lamar's legacy so far has been he hasn't performed to the level of a Josh Allen in the playoffs, despite the losses, not the wins, because when the Ravens win playoff games, Lamar has, you know, a great game. But also the difference is that when Lamar doesn't play well, defense nobody around the team to pick him up. At least when Josh Allen has a bad game, there's players around him that pick him up and put him in position to win games. So I think that's the difference.
So you're saying Josh Allen has more help than Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. Okay. It's been proven over.
I don't know.
You go back the last.
I don't know.
You go back the last 5 postseasons, man. Like,
see, I'm thinking about and my memory is foggy off the freestyle, but I think about that Lamar Jackson Chargers game where he had like 50-60 throws, and you know what I'm saying, and that like that defense. I don't recall how good or how well that defense played. I'm talking
about getting turnovers. I'm talking about making some plays on defense where you give your offense short fields. And I put this stat out there that of all the games Lamar has started in the playoffs, all those games the defense has only 2 turnovers, right? And it's crazy to think about, because when I'm watching these games this weekend, I'm looking at the Patriots getting 5 turnovers on CJ Stroud on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Even the turnovers that the Texans got on New England. I'm thinking about 3 turnovers on Drake May. And it's like, damn, like they're getting more turnovers in just one game than Lamar has had in 8 postseason games.
Okay.
Like that's crazy. Like it's crazy to think about, but like that's the reality. That's just the reality of what has happened, with Lamar Jackson. And I don't want to turn into a Lamar Jackson conversation, but
I think what I was getting to, and I'll never really give a fuck enough about it to really look it up in deep detail. I feel like Lamar Jackson has had more help on his teams than Josh Allen has had on his teams whether offense or defense. But
I think Lamar has had more big names on his teams than Buffalo has had big names on their team.
Okay.
They got the names. Like, look, Lamar Humphrey. We know who Lamar. I mean, not Lamar Humphrey.
I got you.
We know who Marlon Humphrey is, right? We know who Derrick Henry is. We know who Roquan Smith is. Like, we know all those household names. Like, you look at Buffalo. It's Josh Allen, it's James Cook, and it's Deion Dawkins at least for the most part. I know there's the Milanos and the Ed Olivers and the Trey Whites and all that. I get all that, but not necessarily household names. Right.
Okay.
So I think they got more names. I think Baltimore had more household names than Buffalo, but I think Buffalo, when they get down to it, when they're in these playoff mode, they get the turnovers. Like, that defense gets the turnovers now. Like, I've watched Mahomes, like in their matchups, I've watched Mahomes turn it over a few times, by Buffalo. I've watched, Buffalo go into what's that? I've watched them play the Bengals and, get a couple turnovers here and there. You know what I'm saying? So,
trust me, I don't remember. Like I said, my memory foggy. Okay. If that's the case, let's say that's the case.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, that don't really change where I feel about, as far as Buffalo and the status of the status of their future with McDermott being gone.
Oh yeah, of course not. No,
that didn't really change nothing for me.
Oh no.
Because now we're talking about culture being impacted, but I still do believe that they made a mistake. I still was definitely shocked that they let McDermott go. And I guess this phrase has been going around so much is, he gonna have a job by tomorrow. That phrase has been going around a lot with all these
McDermott.
Well, Sean McDermott, Tomlin, John Harbaugh was.
I say Doug McDermott. I meant Sean McDermott.
These sayings, because of these I guess prominent or long tenure coaches have been getting let go. And I guess Tomlin ain't really interested in coaching is the conversation.
That's the word out there.
Yeah, but certainly Sean McDermott, maybe like we expect him to have a job next week for certain.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what. Well, I wonder what the Ravens are thinking too. Because I mean, if I'm Eric DeCosta,
my thought too. My thought too.
If I'm Eric DeCosta, that's a dude that I'm picking up the phone to give a call to.
Yeah, that's my thought too. In Pittsburgh, that's my thought too. My thought is that's my thought too. Like Sean McDermott. Sure. All right, now we got some quarterback issues over here, but we got quarterback issues over here, brother.
No. I'm not disagreeing with that. I was thinking in my head, like, from the Steeler perspective, yes, they should be thinking about making a call to Sean McDermott. But from Sean McDermott's perspective,
he got a quarterback.
He gonna look at it and he gonna look at that situation and be like, I don't know about this situation.
I don't know what he's gonna say.
You know what I'm saying?
But well, not to make this a Baltimore Pittsburgh podcast, even though it kind of is. At the same time, they trust that franchise is kind of going to let him, have some input.
The stability part of it is the most attractive thing about it. I agree with that.
I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be real conversations, especially as Pittsburgh coaching staff members start to leave. I just heard Danny Smith left for Tampa Bay today, and that's depressing. But they're going to lean on McDermott to say, "Hey, what do we need to do to turn this shit around in the next
Mm,
2-3 years?" I'm confident if they call him and that's going
yeah.
to be like, all right,
They're gonna have to sell hard for sure.
well, yeah, for sure. It's definitely
Yeah.
an easier sell in Baltimore for certainly,
Hmm. Yeah.
for certain.
So I've heard two people mention this guy's name in terms of the Buffalo head coach opening. Heard the name Bill Belichick thrown around by a couple people. And it's like, okay, like okay, you know, the AFC East, he could get back at the Patriots for how that situation ended. Josh Allen, he was successful with, a great quarterback. He would have a quarterback in this situation in Buffalo. I get it, but I just don't know that really anybody in this league wants to touch Bill Belichick at this point.
Um, I don't know if that's the case. I just don't believe he wants to coach in the NFL.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't think he wants to coach in the NFL. I mean, I don't have nothing that really. I don't have no facts to back it, obviously, but I
Mhm.
don't think he. I think he cool. I think he
Mhm.
cool. He got his little young
I could
Jones,
understand
and
that
yeah, like I
because he
think he
interviewed for
cool.
the Falcons a couple seasons ago. He
Did
interviewed
it?
for that job
Mm-hmm.
and decided, and whatever reason, maybe Blank didn't want to give as much control to him.
Because
However that
there's
ended,
right.
maybe he didn't want to.
I always do get this sense with Bill Belichick that he got his like this new wave of coaches that believe more in analytics and go for it more on 4th and 2 than ever, and
Hmm.
what I'm saying, like I don't think he always loved this shit. I think he liked the way football was played when he
Hmm.
was in his prime. And thank God for a quarterback like Tom Brady to have on his team, because we know who Tom Brady is.
Yeah.
But I don't think he like all this new shit that's going on in the league nowadays. All this stopping to make sure the play is right, and like all like as a
Oh, the instant
yeah.
replay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he like all this new shit. I don't think he like it. I think he and again, obviously I don't know this dude. I've watched a lot of interviews, or him, doing shows and like Pat McAfee, all that type of stuff, and it's like, oh, this dude just like he just a dude that he likes the game. You know what I'm saying? He don't like all the politics that come with the game. And
Hmm.
I think that's prevalent in how he used to deal with it. They used to regard him as a coach, as one of those top guys, obviously because he was winning, but obviously also because the way he went about business. Like, hey, if he don't want to talk about it, he ain't talking about it. If he don't want to do that, he ain't doing that. He keep it close knit. All this social media and people in my locker rooms, and like he ain't he ain't doing all that. He ain't with all that. And
Hmm.
I don't think he want to come back and deal with uh I'm just throwing a name out there, the proverbial young Sean McVay offensive coordinator, whoever that is. I know, what I'm saying, whoever that is.
Yeah.
I just feel like he did all he's going to do in the NFL.
Hmm. You might be
I'm
right
not
on that.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
you
he's
you might
interested in
you might be
that.
right on that. I am curious, how he feels about his first year coaching, in North Carolina. Um, because that landscape over there has changed as well, even though he hasn't been there to see the other side of it,
Right.
change. But I'm just curious how he views what's been going on in the landscape of college football. But
Me too, but
yeah.
I would think maybe more so in college than in the NFL is more pure. It's more so based on pure football than it
Hmm.
is. I know the NIL is a thing, but everybody don't.
Yeah,
Every player doesn't benefit from the NIL. You know what I'm
that's true.
saying? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like it's still a thing where I'm teaching young men football, and it's kind of this thing where it's like they don't walk into the locker room and say, "Nigga, I make more money than you, so I don't give a fuck what you're talking about," type of thing. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
And it could
Like
be a control thing also. Like he has
yeah,
more control of the roster
he
in
run
college than he would in the NFL.
and it's like it's like a, for lack of a better term, but I don't have really have no other way to let's do mentee mentor as opposed to father to son. It's like a mentee mentor thing. Like it's like I'm teaching you the game. And and it's not based on a whole bunch of money. Like it's not based on clout. It's just, hey, you want to play football and I want to coach football, and so we putting this thing together. It's more that it's just less politics in college football because it ain't a whole bunch of people making a whole gang of money. At least not that that's responsible for the sport anyway. That's playing the sport anyway. You know what I'm saying? So like I just think it's different in college football right now than it is in NFL. Maybe more so than ever, but.
Right. Shout out to the Frozen Pirate podcast, watching this live on
What up?
IG. So I didn't want to forget this opening also. So the Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski to a deal there also. So I guess my thing with the Falcons, and I kind of polled some Falcons fans about it to see how they kind of felt about the the hiring, whatever. And our guy Jordan Watkins, who played offensive line in college, said it's going to be one of those things. It's slow process. It'll probably be first year probably won't be as successful, but second year kind of look out kind of a thing. Which I don't agree with, because I think they got talent to where if they just get the right coach in there, that they could really, win 10, 11 games in my book anyway. But I wonder how the fans feel now that the Buffalo job opened and McDermott is on the street. Because I also asked that question to Falcons fans, like, would you rather have McDermott or would you rather have Stefanski? And they said that they would rather have McDermott.
Obviously. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
like obviously, right? Based on track record, who wouldn't want to have Sean McDermott over Kevin Stefanski? But ironically, I do think that this could be a good thing for the Falcons. Kevin Stefanski know how to coach offense. That there ain't nothing to that. He know how to coach offense. He's out of that. See, I don't know how much of that this Cleveland shit got to do with Cleveland being a bad franchise or him being a bad head coach. I just don't know.
I think we know. I think we know.
I think we know too. But but for the sake of not knowing, for the sake of truly not knowing, I'm gonna say I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think Kevin Stefanski coaches offense. I think he's very capable of coaching offense.
Yep.
I don't think the Falcons are a bad offensive or a poor offensive team.
Yeah.
I do think with the talent they have with a good offensive coach, they can possibly take it to the next level. And now we're just talking about bringing in a good defensive coordinator to keep the defense, they're
going to keep what's his face? Ulbrich.
Yep. I did read that. So good defensive coordinator, good offensive coach that I'm assuming is going to run the offense for the most part or call the plays for the most part. Or at least at bare minimum input his philosophy.
For sure. And if Kevin sees stuff that he doesn't like, he's gonna have the ability to jump in and be like, I don't like that. Like,
with that on paper, the Falcons, with however you summarize the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season last year. And however you summarize the Carolina Panthers, they should be able to compete just as well. The Falcons, should be able to compete with just as they should be able to compete this in that division, just like they have been every other year. And I would reckon to say, because again, I don't think this offense is much more talented than Tampa Bay's offense on paper. The Falcons, but I think with a good guy, with somebody who knows how to call offense, I think that should be enough to take them over the hump. I'm not going to sit here and say in January I'm getting ready to call the Falcons to win a division, and
and they got questions with the quarterback spot too. Like,
sure.
Michael Penix is coming off of a injury, and not just any injury. Like, Michael Penix has been injured throughout his whole college career, so we still got questions about whether he's the future or not. Kirk Cousins is still there, and we know Kirk, when he's on, but also when he's off, he's terribly off.
He in the third. He walking into the third year of that contract.
Year 3, yeah.
Out of 4.
3 out of 4, yeah. 3 out of 4, yeah.
I could see him being gone in the all season.
It's possible.
I remember. I don't remember the how, but I do vaguely remember an article last summer about how they should be able to get Kirk Cousins out of there at the end of this season. And don't give me the line about it, but I don't see he'll be gone.
And I think that was legit. I think that was legit though. But I think because of the Penix injury, and you don't know how he's going to respond to that.
You still hold on to Kirk Cousins? No, the fuck you don't.
Yeah.
No, the hell you don't.
Yeah.
There's plenty. You can get plenty of Jacoby Brissett's. You can get plenty of there's so many backup quarterback options you could get for cheaper than Kirk Cousins. You get Kirk Cousins out of there, and especially because you're paying $30 million worth of trash, you get him out of there.
Okay. I mean,
yeah, you get him out of there.
Okay.
You get him out of there. If that article proves true, whatever article, don't get me the lying. I just remember seeing it and I said in my mind that if he wasn't gone last summer, he was definitely going to be gone this summer. And he's gone. He's gone. You can go find a cheaper option. You can go draft a cheaper option and hope for the best.
Right, which they won't do. They won't draft a cheaper option. They would go the route of free agency. I think if they decided Kirk wasn't the guy.
I mean, please, you go bring Mariota. Go bring Mariota back. Go bring. I mean, it's so many options. You can go. If you like the way
you just better hope that whoever they bring in is and maybe 10 times better is maybe exaggerating it, but he got to at least be 3-4 times better than Kirk Cousins. And I don't know that Jacoby Brissett is 4 times better than Kirk Cousins. I do think he's a good quarterback.
You say that? Hold on. Because argument time. You think he, as bad as Kirk Cousins has been in the past 2, maybe 3 years? If you just seen Jacoby Brissett play in Arizona, if you got that Jacoby Brissett in Atlanta, you all right.
Better
and that's
weapons.
That's not 3-4 times better than Kirk Cousins.
Better weapons, better defense. Yeah, I get all that. No, I totally get all that.
Hell, if you was really, and this obviously ain't really going to happen. But hell, see what's up with Malik Willis. If it's really because he ain't gonna break the bank.
He ain't want to go to Atlanta either.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know that's not really gonna happen because
I got you.
Because he's not gonna be a backup.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He ain't gonna want to go there. But I'm just thinking Mariota, Jacoby Brissett. I'm just thinking
the Tyrod Taylors of the world,
Well, I don't know about Tyrod. Tyrod get hurt.
All I'm saying is those guys. If Penix don't come back till week 7, and obviously we just throwing numbers out here. If he don't come back till week 7, if Tyrod Taylor can win 4 games in the NFC South, then they're still pretty much in position to possibly win that division. So
here's a prediction. So I think Kirk stays. And I only say that because while I agree with you that Kirk has been spotty at best, I mean, up and down the past couple of years since he's been in Atlanta, I do agree with you there. They won 4 straight games to end the regular season with Kirk Cousins being the quarterback. So I just don't know how they would look at that, and I don't know how their fans will look at it if they said, hey, we're going to cut ties with Kirk Cousins and we're going to bring in a backup quarterback to start until Michael Penix, gets himself, ready to go, which Penix is still sort of a question mark even when he gets back. So I don't know how, fans look at that. I don't know how the team looks at that.
I can't fathom that they would be willing to erase the first year and 3 quarters of Kirk Cousins' career. I mean, career in Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Mm-hmm.
and say, because he won the past 4 games of this season, I'm willing to hold on to that money and that play.
Maybe not the money part, but the play part,
And
they could be fooled by it.
Nah,
They
bruh.
could be fooled by it.
Sure, anybody could be fooled
It's the
by anything.
Falcons.
It's all about how you it's all about how you sell it. I don't know a privy Atlanta Falcon fan that would say, because Kirk Cousins won these past 4 games, I'm cool with holding on to him over the summertime until Penix comes back. I can't see it. I would,
I could.
okay. Find that fan. Find that fan. My nephew's an Atlanta fan. I'm pretty sure. And I holler at me, nephew.
I could.
Isaiah, holler at me and let me know that
we know some Falcons fans.
there's no way in hell that you hold on to, if you can get rid of Kirk Cousins in the summertime. Kirk Cousins is gone. And you go deal with the quarterback pool.
And cool.
And you deal with the pool. And you deal with the pool.
Sure, cool. Like I don't want to put too much. I don't want to put too much energy on it, because in the end, I really don't care. But I'm just thinking about what the team is thinking and what fans could possibly be thinking. But generally speaking, the fans want to get rid of Kirk Cousins. Like I mean, that's been a thing. Like you talked about with the article, the past off season. But that situation at that time was, hey, we got our guy. So yeah, it's easier to, move on from Kirk Cousins when at the time you had a healthy Michael Penix. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm just saying it might be a little different, but we'll see. We'll see.
I say healthy Michael Penix or not, you can find a better quarterback for your better bang for your buck, if you will, in that quarterback free agency pool.
Mm-hmm. That dude was on TV too. Kirk Cousins was on CBS.
Did we because Matt Ryan got a job with the Falcons.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, president of basketball. Football operations.
Do you think Matt Ryan going for that shit? I don't know how much clout or how much he in charge of. Do you think Matt Ryan going for that shit? I don't know, Matt Ryan.
I don't know.
I can't see the president of football operations. Ring of honor, Matt Ryan is going for that bullshit in Atlanta, paying this dude upwards of $30 million, maybe almost $40 million to be a placeholder for Michael Penix. I can't see it.
I will say this though, because there were fans unhappy with Matt Ryan because of the Kevin Stefanski hire. A lot of fans aren't sold on Kevin Stefanski now.
I can understand that.
Whether it's because of what happened in Cleveland, whether it's I'll bring this up too. Shout out Isaac Hayes III, because I don't know why he popped up on my timeline the other day, but he was doing a video maybe a couple of days ago, and he was talking about the Kevin Stefanski hire. I think he's a Falcons fan, but he was saying how you going to bring in the dude that was most disrespectful to the Sanders family, talking about Shador and Dion, because Dion, all-time great Falcon, right? Shador, we know the story in Cleveland. We know Kevin Stefanski didn't want Shador from the beginning, and how he treated him, throughout the season. So, there's that narrative of it that, he painted for the fans to feel like, yo, why this dude? Like,
I mean, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that point. Again, I don't know where Stefanski wants to go.
It could work though. Like what you said earlier. It could work.
It could work.
It could work because Cleveland, look, everything Cleveland touches goes to shit. You know what I'm saying? You get out of a shitty situation, and look, you can flourish, man. Look, we've seen it with quarterbacks. Look, we know the Jets are trash for a while, and the situation with their former quarterbacks. I mean, we've seen Geno Smith play better in another uniform. We've seen Sam Darnold play better in another uniform. So sometimes it's about where you come from. It ain't always about the person sometimes. That could be the case with Stefanski.
Yeah, I think again, we ain't sitting here talking about the Falcons going to be a Super Bowl team in 3 years. I'm just saying I think that they have the possibility of looking better on offense. You keep
Yep.
all brick and you should be in a competition in the NFC South every single year for winning the division every single year with this team as is put together so far.
Yeah. Right. Right. So I think there's 6 openings left, head coach. Right. I think there's 6 left because I think
Uh,
with the McDermott
Pitts,
firing, there were 10
Buffalo.
total.
Okay, I trust Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Arizona.
Okay, yeah, about to say that's why I stopped. Cause
I'm
I
missing
don't
somebody.
and forgive me, but the Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore are the winning teams. All right, the teams who are like somewhere close to like I don't look at Arizona and be like, oh, they just a coach away and it's going to
Right.
and you
Right.
know what I'm saying. So that's probably why I don't think about them when I think about coach openings. Um, yeah, sorry to those fan bases. It's Baltimore, it's Buffalo, it's Pittsburgh, and then there's everybody else as far as head coach openings as it
Yeah.
stands right now. And I
And and,
remember,
and some might argue it's Buffalo and Baltimore.
yeah, exactly,
Hmm.
exactly, exactly.
But yeah, I was trying to find the other 2 teams. I can't remember who the other two teams was that was looking for coaches. Miami. We talked about Miami,
Miami
right?
filled their position.
Miami filled it. Tennessee filled it. The Giants filled theirs. Atlanta filled theirs. Um, yeah, it'll come to me. It'll come to me at some
Man,
point.
we don't have to. Let's just talk. But let's get into these games, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Thoughts on what we saw this weekend in terms of the games.
Um, Seattle was. I still got Seattle in my prediction pool. um, they smoked the 49ers. I know we don't necessarily need to get into that game. It was an ass whipping from kickoff.
Yeah,
um,
at all,
yeah,
bro, at all. Shout out
yeah.
Rashid. Shout out Shaheed, man.
Rashid, yes, Rashid Shaheed, yeah,
Shout
like
out to
that
him, man.
ass whippers from kickoff, belt the ass from kickoff. Shout out to them going to the NFC Championship. Um, are you prepared? Have you processed how you jumped out the window last week
On
to
the
come?
49ers,
Oh
or
no, on the Bears.
have I processed it?
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
I
really
know.
nothing.
I
Wasn't
mean,
really
I
nothing
get,
for me
I
to
get it. I mean,
process.
I get
It
that. I
wasn't
mean,
nothing for me to
well, let's be.
process.
Here's why I want you to dig a little deep for content right here,
Uh,
because what did you? And again, let's be very very clear.
hmm
Chicago is a good up and coming team, and
hmm
they, you know what I'm saying,
I was
and
gonna say, don't act like the Bears got their ass whooped
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. I wouldn't dare. I watched
Okay,
it.
okay,
I
okay,
was resting this weekend, so I fell in and out of consciousness. But I saw enough of it to know
okay,
that Caleb
okay.
Williams, in that whole Jaden Daniels Caleb Williams competition, that competition got a little better this season. And
hmm
with Caleb Williams did throughout the regular season and what he's done in the postseason, even amidst the loss. You know what I'm saying? Even though that throw was as amazing as that throw was to Komet in the corner of the end zone, it was ill advised and it was a prayer. And I'm not gonna act like, oh, that was some like, this is why football is football, right? You
Yeah,
could do something throw something up on a wing of the prayer.
miracles do happen, man.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
sure,
but we're not gonna sit here and act
sure.
like that was the plan the whole time, and
No, they didn't draw it up that way. No, they
like
didn't. Nope, they didn't draw it up that way. Nope, they
But
they definitely did not.
all that to say,
Yeah.
I felt like you jumped out the window with Chicago to the Super Bowl. I feel like you jumped out the window. If I'm
No, I
even being,
did. No, I said
no,
it. I
yeah, no,
said
no,
it.
no, no, yeah. So that's why I'm like, you gonna have to give me a little more than it wasn't a big deal. Like that was kind of a okay. I guess let me take a step back.
Okay.
You thought about this, meaning before you came onto the pod last week, you thought
Yep.
about this and
Hmm.
said, "I'm going to come on when the time is right. I'm gonna come on when we talking about Chicago, and you're gonna come on and say, you know what? I got Chicago going to the Super Bowl based on this and based on that, and woo. But I really don't really recall what you said that made you feel like Chicago was going to the Super Bowl. But
I also said that I was contradicting myself too because of what I said about that Bears 49ers game. That my take out of that game was that these two defenses are so bad that neither one of them was getting to the Super Bowl, but then things changed, right?
What changed is what I'm getting at.
The Eagles, which was my original Super Bowl pick for the NFC, the Eagles got upset. Let's call it what it is. It was an upset by the 49ers.
Yeah.
And then I forgot what happened on the other side. Well, we really didn't think Green Bay was going to really, do much of anything.
Without Michael Parsons, yeah.
Right. And so it was the field, right? It was Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and it was Bears. And I looked at the Seahawks and I said, okay, we're going to find out about Sam Darnold. Right? That there's still that out there, right? There's still that out there. 49ers, even though I believed in them to maybe win this weekend, they just was too beat up. They lost some more guys in the game on Saturday. So, you kind of shove them to the side a bit. And then you had the Rams, which right now really should be everybody's favorite to win the Super Bowl. But I know there's other people that think differently, but you had the Rams there. And it's like, okay, Rams haven't been playing great football the last several weeks. I mean, lost to the Falcons, lost to the Panthers. They've been giving up points on the back end of that defense. Gave up 30 plus 4 out of the last 6 weekends. Yeah, the Rams could be had. I could see an upset here. And if they got by the Rams, they would have been playing either the Niners or the Seahawks. And at that point, it's like, okay, Caleb Williams would have been, coming off of a good game. Hey, this might be the year. This maybe the Bears get to the Super Bowl. So that's why I went with it. That's why I went with it, bro. That's why I jumped out the window.
Hey, man.
And guess what? I'm dead.
Yeah, that's a fact.
After this weekend, I'm dead. Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
Because nothing of what you just
blood splattered everywhere.
Because nothing of what you said just now makes me believe that you really believed last week that Chicago was going to the Super Bowl. Now, what it did say to me is that you saw the possibility of it happening, meaning that there was no dominant team in the NFC. And I get that. Yeah. But it feels like the way you jumped out the window last week made me feel like, and I didn't want to say it, I didn't want, guess.
And again, I'll throw this out there. Again, I'm gonna put that asterisk there because I said, hey, I am contradicting myself because
everybody contradicts themselves in sports. That's not what I'm concerned about.
No, sure, I get that, but like I said, I jumped out the window, but I was at the same time, I was like, yo, forget what I was talking about. What was that second to last week of the year about their defense and stuff? Forget all that.
Yeah,
like right now,
that's
going
sports.
to Super Bowl.
That's sports. That's sports. That don't concern me. Of all the because all these teams were kind of even kill. You know what I'm saying? I honestly, I feel like Seattle still has been playing the best football of the before we went into the weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
But why not the Rams? Why not jump out the window and say the Rams is going to win? You know what I'm saying? Like, why
because
not?
Because that's not jumping out the window.
I mean, they had to go on the road. Y'all alluded to they don't play well in cold weather. I didn't necessarily. I wasn't jacking that because I know just last year they played in cold Philadelphia. Maybe not as cold as Chicago. I'm not comparing cold. I'm just saying
that's
cold.
A different cold.
I'm just saying cold. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't 15 degrees. I know this was supposed to be historically like one of the coldest days ever
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that.
Yeah.
But when discussing the Rams,
and they lost that game, by the way, the Philly.
I get that.
Yep.
But they almost won that game is what I was alluding to.
Right.
That's what I was alluding to.
Right.
Let me land the plane.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand how before I get to the main point.
Yep.
This LA Rams team has constructed, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, this defense.
Yep.
We can go ahead and kick all that they don't play in cold weather shit out. They play good in cold weather. Let me just say that. They play good in cold weather. They're fine in cold weather. Their philosophy travels well in all year. That's first of all. Second of all, I just can't fathom. I guess what I'm saying at the end of the day is
the Bears that much of a drop off? Like,
no, I just don't. No,
okay,
that's what
okay.
I'm saying. I just didn't understand why you. It'd be one thing if you said. It'd be one thing if last week you said, Chicago really got a good chance of winning going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd have said that, cool. I just didn't understand the jump out. And
because not a lot of people believe that. That's why not a lot of people had the Bears.
Who do you think is the favorite? Who did you think was the favorite in the NFC after Philly left? After Philly got eliminated, you think it was the Rams?
I thought it was Rams, Seahawks, Bears, Niners. If I had to rank the final four, yeah, I thought it was Rams.
You
Seahawks,
think people had the
Bears, 49ers?
You think if we did a poll of a poll that people had the Bears over the 49ers?
Yes. Only because of the injuries.
Okay.
Only because of the injuries. Otherwise, I would have had Niners, Bears. I would have had Niners third, Bears 4 if everybody was healthy.
Okay, I guess at the end of the day, because we'll get into the game.
Yep.
I just didn't understand. I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand the jump out. I didn't understand why we felt not me, y'all felt like the Bears.
Of course she's a Bears fan, so of course she's gonna.
I mean, she
gonna pick her team.
I mean, she's gonna pick her team, but if you're gonna keep it a buck, she ain't sound all the way confident last week.
Right.
Keep it a buck.
Right. Not as confident as I was.
Yeah. Right. There we go. That's
not as confident as I was.
That's what
the
it
non-fan.
That's what it was. Because she was riding with her team, but you could tell her in her energy that she was a little I don't know, when I told her, when I said I ain't gonna hold you, like I'm rooting for y'all, but y'all not getting out of this. She was just like, like it wasn't like normally in the past when I do that triggers guests. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've done a poll on this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that trigger, like, either you going because you agree that ain't like, you're an objective fan, or you're an inobjective fan that says like, nah, my team, woo, 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 woo.
Right,
but
you just jump out the window, and she didn't even do that.
She didn't jump out the window. So when you jumped out, I'm like, yo, why are you jumping out the window? I wasn't trying to get you to jump out the window. I'm trying to get her to jump out the window. Why is Trey jumping out the window? And so for you to be, you weren't so wrong, because like I said, the Bears played well for the most part. They just didn't
that defense surprised me.
Yeah,
they surprised me on Sunday.
So I'm not going. This is not a shot at Chicago at the Bears.
Yeah.
It's more like I think. Let me just ask you, because that's what I was trying to do.
Yep.
What had you picking the Bears over the Rams this past weekend?
Caleb Williams. It was Caleb Williams.
Wow.
It was. Look, we talked about it last week. Like that dude makes some of the craziest throws. And look, I know you disagree with me about how many more guys can make that throw than Patrick Mahomes, but Caleb Williams, to me, he's one of those guys that he can make those kind of like unorthodox throws. And he's done it all season long. Like all the the comebacks, and I get the comebacks only can last but so long. But they weren't in a serious like comeback. They weren't in like a ferocious. They didn't have to come back the way they had to come back against Green Bay.
This is a battle.
This was it was a struggle, it was a battle and all that. But yeah, for me, it was Caleb Williams, it was Ben Johnson being able to call the game offensively, and I thought, and I know you and I disagree with the Rams. It's not that I don't think they play well in the cold. It's that I think after playing in it for a duration of the game, maybe it starts to affect them later in the fourth quarter. Maybe you know you take
Okay.
so many hits, in that weather, and you just like, oh damn, like I can't, like I won't be taking these
Yeah.
hits, late in the game.
Yeah,
It's
we
more,
disagree.
it's more
Okay,
so that
I understand your logic. I think
it's
we
more
got
so that.
I think we got this iteration of the Rams and this iteration of the Rams for the past 3 or 4 years. I think we got these Rams fucked up. The Matthew Stafford Rams, I think we got these Rams fucked up. These teams, while they play in LA, I get it, and this is a worldwide thing that comes with teams that play in domes and in warm weather.
Right, because they practice in this stuff, and
I don't think this iteration of the
no,
Rams.
that's fair. That's
I
fair.
think they're an anomaly to that rule.
Because
I
you
think
can have a team, you could be a dome team, and I've seen this. This is not just
yeah,
with the Rams. I've seen it with other dome teams where you build your team for games like in Chicago. You
yeah,
build your
yeah.
teams, tough defense, run the football. Like, yeah, you can build your team to sustain, playing in the cold and being able to survive those conditions. I
I mean, even
do
when
agree
because
with that.
even when you think about their number one wide receiver, who is the number one wide receiver, but he
Yeah.
does all the things. He blocks, he hit. You know what I'm saying? He does all the things, and
Mhm.
but the stats are still there. I mean, it's similar to when Cooper Cup was in his prime. Like he did all the things. He blocked. He did all the things, but he still
Yep.
was able to get open.
Yep.
And if you need him deep, he good deep. If you need him intermediate, he good intermediate. If you need him short routes, he good short routes. Like he's that consummate all around, just so happen to be white wide receiver that does all the things. And when you got a number one wide receiver that's willing to do all the things, like your team is built different. Your team
Yep.
is willing, like I can go in the cold and do what I need to do
Yeah.
because this is the way the team is built. I just think we need to, for this iteration of the Rams, we
No,
need to
I
get
agree.
that. We need to get
I
that
agree.
cold weather. We need to get that stigma off of them. They play in the cold weather, and
No.
and that's no fearing for them.
They can build. Yeah, they're built. They can sustain it. I mean,
Yeah,
they have players that have been in those conditions. If you want
yeah.
to go player for player, Devontae Adams all those years in Green Bay, Matt
Matthew
Stafford all
Stafford.
those years when he had to go on the road to Green Bay, where he had to go on the road to Chicago. Like, yeah, like if you want to go individually by player, yeah, there's guys that know how to play in this stuff, but like kind of overall as a team, and the weather thing. I think the weather narrative in general is real because I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
because
real.
if it wasn't, we wouldn't be talking about the Miami Dolphins not being able to win a game when it's 40 degrees or lower.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah, no, no. Let's be clear. We know
Yeah,
it's real. That's a
yeah,
real thing. I'm just saying it don't apply to the Rams.
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that's all I
I'm
was
there.
saying.
I'm
It
there
don't
with
apply.
you.
It definitely does not apply to the Rams.
Yep, no, I'm there with you. I'm there with
But
you.
congrats to the Rams.
Yeah, congrats, congrats.
NFC Championship Rams and Seahawks. I guess we'll pick it later. I don't want to. Ain't really too. I guess we'll get to the game when we pick it.
Yeah.
But I guess we need to move on to the AFC. And man,
boy.
and I know we're not gonna get the. I know we're not gonna get the game. I guess we all were kind of hoping for with Bo Nix being hurt. Get well soon. The Bo
Yeah.
Nix ankle
Yeah,
injury.
get well.
So it looked like Jarrett Stidham is going to start in this AFC Championship game against the Patriots. And look, for all intents and purposes, I can look forward to a Seahawk New England Patriots Super Bowl. Because I don't see Jarrett Stidham getting the Broncos out of this game. But getting to the game,
Yeah.
and I know I guess we kind of talked briefly about it, so we don't really have to do too much in this game. Shout out to that defense. Shout out to Bo Nix for playing a hell of a game.
Yeah, facts.
Bo Nix played a hell of a game, and I don't know when he hurt himself.
They said the second to last play of the game in regulation before they kicked the field
Before they
goal.
kicked the field goal. Okay.
That's what they said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of people have their theories about, like, was he really, really hurt before even that entire game took place? Like, I saw
Yeah.
he put out a video about it, and the whole Sean Payton, likes to disclose things and and all that stuff. But according to reports, they said that it was the second to last play of the game before
Okay.
they kicked that game-winning field goal.
Okay. Well, get well soon. Get
Yeah,
well soon, man.
that's tough, man.
Yeah, that is definitely tough. And I will. That is tough. That's tough. I was going to crack a joke, but I don't even really want to crack a joke because it's like that's really fucked. The second year in the league,
Yeah.
he doing everything the right way. As far as on the field, and you know what I'm
Yep.
saying. And for it to happen right there off of a crucial. I mean what do you call it? We call these the you like moments game. These one of them games. Like these one of them games you're gonna kind of go back in the history if you're a Broncos
Absolutely.
fan and look
Absolutely.
at the trajectory of Bo Nix and say that's one of them games that he went out there and do it against one of the best in the league and came out clean. You know what I'm saying? So for him to get injured and know that he's not going to play in the AFC Championship and with a good chance to go to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
good, at least as good as a chance as the Patriots have. And that's real. That's fucked up. Ain't no another way to slice it. That's fucked up. And
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
well soon. I would like to think that the Broncos stock rises another level with this. Like Bo Nix coming back healthy. I gotta think that anything that they want to get or they need as far as roster depth, people want to play in Denver now.
Yeah. And that's not an injury that's gonna heal long, right? Like
Yeah.
that's something that he can come back from. He'll be back in time for OTAs,
Yeah,
training camp, and all
yeah.
that stuff. So
Yeah, but
I wouldn't even think about him being, not ready for week 1 next season. He'll be ready.
I wasn't even looking that far ahead. I'm thinking about, bruh, the AFC Championships is this week,
Yeah,
and
so
and he's not
I'm
gonna
looking at
play.
it. So I'm looking at it a little differently. So here's what I do agree with. I do agree that the favorite has to shift to New England. I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton has had a history of coaching these backup quarterbacks in these situations where and look, I get it. It's regular season is different from postseason. I get it, the whole 9 yards. But if you're just talking about Sean Payton as a coach, and he's won a Super Bowl, if we're talking about his ability to be able to get a backup quarterback ready for moments to be able to play in a game, I think he can do that with Jarrett Stidham. Now, I picked the Broncos to represent the AFC before the playoffs started. So I'm not gonna back off of that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna back off of that.
I'm seeing reasoning. You should just started with that, bro. Because
Huh?
you should have just started with that. Because
Okay. Well,
because truthfully, let's keep it a buck.
Yep.
If that was not your pick,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to look at this game objectively,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton, Hall of Fame coach, all the things you just said.
Yeah.
He prepares backup quarterbacks, and even
I would have been saying the same thing. I would have been saying the same thing.
You'd have been picking Denver to beat the Patriots.
No. I'm not saying I would have picked them. No, I'm saying my analysis
right.
would be the same
but
whether I picked them from the beginning or not.
But you would not be picking the Broncos.
No, I wouldn't be. Well, I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I'd
think about it right now. Jarrett Stidham, with everything you just said, are you picking the Broncos to beat the New England Patriots?
I would pick them whether I picked them from the beginning or whether I'm picking them now because maybe the team I picked is out of it now. I would pick them because look, it's not just about the quarterback missing. This defense, and I know they just gave up 30 points, but we know what that Buffalo team is. We know what Josh Allen is, right? They still at home. It's still one of the top 5 defenses, right? Denver, that don't change for Denver, right? They still one of the
No.
top 5 defenses, right?
Hold up. Okay, I'm gonna let you cook. Yes, they're still one of the top
They're
defenses.
still one of the top 5 defenses, right?
Yes.
The last time I checked, the defense got to be played too. So
Absolutely.
defense got to be played, right? I'll say it like I said it about the week before with Drake May. He made some throws when he had to. He threw the touchdowns when he had to. But for the second straight week, he didn't look that impressive to me, man. He was turning the ball over too. He's had what, 5 turnovers in 2 weeks in these playoffs, Drake May.
Okay.
He's had about 5 turnovers, right?
I don't give me the line. Yes, he's had a lot of turnovers.
Right. So now you going up against another top defense this week, and you're not going to be at home. You got to go to their spot to do it. It's not like this isn't crazy. Like it's not crazy that people would still pick the Broncos to win this game despite not having Bo Nix. That's not a crazy thing to say. This is not crazy, bro.
Trey, I'm here to tell you, bro. You have done it again. You've made a crazy take 2 weeks in a row. Last week, I feel like you saying the Chicago Bears was going to the Super Bowl was a crazy take. This week, you are saying the top defense in the league, Denver Broncos, being led by Jarrett Stidham, is going to beat
and Coach Sean Payton. Don't forget that.
Okay. And Coach Sean Payton. Yes, and Coach Sean Payton, who does draw magnificent plays, but does not play on the field.
At home, by the way. At
home. Look, I would love to eat this crow so you can not look crazy. I mean, your eyes.
You think New England's a world beater? You think New England looked like world beaters these past 2 weeks?
That's not the point at all. The point is that Jarrett Stidham is at quarterback. Have you seen Jarrett Stidham play?
I've seen him a couple times, and I'm not saying
you've seen him play before, right?
No, I've seen him play before, but I haven't seen him play under Sean Payton before either. So again, if we just basing we're going to win based off the quarterback. I mean, if we just basing it off of that, then
we understand. But hold on, but we understand that the quarterback has a lot to do with teams winning and losing, right? Like, yes, defense is something that has to be considered. As well as special teams, as well as played. Because we also aware that the New England defense is a good defense too, right?
They are a good defense.
I'm not saying they're a top 5 world beating defense like Denver is. I'm just saying that they're good. They're a competent, good defense, well coached. And one thing you're not going to do is act like the New England Patriots, in the midst of their flaws and all, aren't a well coached team. They've been a well coached team all year.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so Sean Payton's on one side and Vrabel is on another side. So let's not do the whole, Sean Payton and let's not do that and act like all of a sudden New England ain't been New England all year long.
But I'm also not going to act like New England's all the way up here and Denver's right here just because they lost the starting quarterback.
See, but there you go, trying to compare how I'm comparing who's better than who. All I'm saying is that they're not winning.
That's fair. That's fair. But I'm not going to sit here and act like these two teams are like worlds apart from each other. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like that. So for somebody to come on here and say, hey, I still think Denver has a chance to win because of X, Y, and Z. That's not a crazy take, bro. That's the part that I disagree with, is that it's a crazy take. It's not a crazy. You also
didn't think that Chicago going to the Super Bowl was a crazy take too. But okay. But in the words of Michael Todd,
but I understand why people thought it was a crazy take because
you don't understand why a Jarrett Stidham led Denver Broncos to miss all the great things that are going on about the Denver Broncos isn't a crazy take. We're not talking about Nick Foles here. Let's be clear. We're not talking about Nick Foles. We're talking about Jarrett Stidham.
But okay. All right, we want to go down this rabbit hole? Because I promise you that year going into the playoffs, a lot of people had Philly out.
Okay,
Like the majority of people had Philly out.
including I
Okay.
feel like including us, but
Yeah.
again, we're not talking. But again, I'm talking about quality of quarterback play. We're not talking about Nick Foles' quality quarterback play. We're talking about Jarrett Stidham type quarterback play. And I get Sean Payton amazing. He might draw up amazing things, but Jarrett Stidham still has to do the things that he draws
Sure.
up.
Sure.
When he see that defensive tackle coming down the coming down the A gap, Jarrett Stidham still gotta man up and
Sure.
do what he gotta do.
So there's no chance in your mind that this defense for Denver can win the game for them. There's absolutely no, like, it's impossible. Like,
Nothing's
they
impossible, Trey.
they
Come on,
they
come on,
they
come on,
can't
come on, come on with
they
the
can't
bullshit.
they can't
Nothing's
they can't turn over
impossible, Trey.
they can't turn over a quarterback that's had 5-6 takeaways the last 2 weeks. Like,
Trey, come on.
what
Come on,
what are we
come
talking
on, bro.
about here?
Come on,
What are
bro.
we talking
Come on,
about
bro.
here?
Nothing. When you say impossible, like, come on, bro. Obviously, anything's possible any given Sunday, bro. Like, what are we talking about? We're clearly talking about probabilities. They're
Sure.
not coming out of there. They ain't gonna have to. Like I said last week about Chicago, they ain't gonna have a long trip home. Our bus ride. They can get in their cars and go home to their
Look,
families
bro,
after this
that's
game.
fine. Look, I don't have a problem with, like I said in the beginning, New England should be the favorite. I said that in the beginning. Like,
I think it's a crazy take.
I'm
Okay,
not.
all right. Let me go back to the initial
You said
conversation.
New
think
England being a favorite is a crazy take.
no. I'm
Oh.
saying what you're getting to, meaning that it's not a crazy take that Denver can train up Jarrett Stidham with their amazing number one defense and Sean Payton's amazing play calling and at home. I still think that's a crazy take to think that Jarrett Stidham, because believe it or not, Trey, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I'm in no stretch shape,
Yep.
saying this is going to be a blowout. I think the defense is going to challenge Drake May, and I think the defense is going to challenge the other defense is going to challenge Jarrett Stidham. I think what it's going to essentially come down to is that it's Jarrett Stidham going to be able to lead this offense to do the things it needs to do. So when Denver does what it's going to do, that Denver leads with a victory.
Okay.
What it's going to come down to
Yeah.
is two good defenses, great, one's better than the other, obviously, but two good defenses, and what offense is going to make the play when it matters. That's what it's going to come down to.
And I have no problem with that analysis. I have absolutely no problem with that analysis.
Right? Okay, so let me land the plane then.
Yep.
It is crazy to believe that Jarrett Stidham, based on Sean Payton's 1 week game plan, because he doesn't play with the one, he doesn't practice with the ones all year. He doesn't do anything with the ones all year.
None of the backups do. None of the backups do. Yeah.
Sure. So to ask Jarrett Stidham, the Jarrett Stidham we've seen play, as opposed to Drake May, who's been doing this all year, sometimes really high and sometimes mid and sometimes not so good, but at the all in all makes the play to win the game. He's done that all year.
Sure.
It's crazy to believe that Jarrett Stidham is going to do it this Sunday or Saturday, whenever they play, as opposed to Drake May doing it when he's been doing it all year. That's a crazy thought.
Okay, if you're talking about the quarterbacks, I understand that, but I'm looking at the game. I'm looking at both sides of the ball for both teams, and I'm looking at a defense that led the league in sacks, that takes away the ball and can score on defense. I'm looking at that and I'm saying, wait, this guy over here turned the ball over 5-6 times in the past 2 weeks, going to their place where the defense is at its best. That's not, again, that's just that to me, that's picking Denver to win this game is not a crazy take despite the drop off at the quarterback spot, because the defense is that good. The defense is that good that they could win this game. That's not crazy. That the Denver defense again led the league in sacks, takes away the ball, can score on defense, can win this game at home. That's not a crazy take. in my opinion.
But you
It's not.
realize but you do
And
also
if I'm
realize.
wrong, and if I'm wrong about the outcome, I'm wrong about the outcome.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
We're not talking about right or wrong. We agree any given Sunday. It's still crazy to think that Jarrett Stidham, because that's where the conversation started. I get it.
Yeah.
We include Jarrett
I get
Stidham
it, because we're so focused on Jarrett Stidham, and I get it. It's a drop off. I'm not.
It's a major drop off.
I'm not disagreeing that it's not a drop off. It's a drop off, but there's other phases of football that teams can win games.
What was the score? What was the score in the Buffalo Denver game?
Well, like I said before, I know they gave up points. No.
That's not the point I was making. The point I was making is that Denver had to score points. They had to score points, and both played a hell of a game.
Sure, because they played. Because they played the Buffalo Bills. Yes, they had to score because they knew what they were going up against.
So the Patriots don't score points?
Not like the Buffalo Bills do.
Sure, the Patriots score 20. They're going to score 25
against that defense. Well, maybe not.
25.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're basing it off of last week, yes, they can. If you're basing it off of last week, they can.
If we're basing it off the season, they can. They can score points.
Because against the Chargers, who you and I said they won and done, they up out of there. They only put up what, 15, 16 points.
Are we about to act like the New England Patriots don't put up points right now because of one game? Are we about to act like the Patriots don't put up points? Denver's had games where they didn't put up points. I'm saying.
No, my point is that that offense can be had if you go up against a good defense. The Chargers is a good defense, and they're not even as good as the Denver defense.
Okay, any defense, any offense can be had. Any defense can be had. It's any given Sunday. Even you can have an amazing game plan, and then everything gets shot to shit. If you're asking, we're going to agree to disagree, so we don't got to keep stretching.
No, that's fine. Fine. Yeah, I'm just saying. Don't call me crazy. That's all I ask. Don't call me crazy.
I'm going to call you crazy. We disagree. Just like we disagreed last week, and I called you crazy.
Well, no, we can disagree about who's going to win the game. I'm fine with that, but don't call me crazy that a team with the number one defense has led the league in sacks and is that dominant on that side of the ball can't win this game. No, that's not. I'm sorry. That's not crazy to me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you think Jarrett Stidham is going to turn the ball over at all? That's my last point.
No, I think he will.
So do you think it's okay? We'll move on. Because
no, you didn't ask me how many turnovers. You asked me.
It doesn't matter.
He's going to turn the ball over.
That's the only thing I wanted to know, because you're saying Drake May. And I promise I'll leave it on after this.
Yep.
Drake May, who borderline MVP candidate all year.
Yep.
Has moments. He turned the ball five times against Pittsburgh earlier in the year, and then went on a run. We know.
I thought that was the running backs. I thought that was more the running backs than the quarterback.
Maybe. You might be right. No, you might be right. You might be right. Take that off the board.
Sure. But I get your point.
The point is that we know that this team turns the ball over. Fuck the team. We know Drake May turns the ball over and more time and still has the capability to win games. And obviously that got something to do with defense and all other things. But if the defense puts the Patriots in position to win the game, do you have and the roles are reversed and the Denver puts Jarrett Stidham in position to win the game? Who's more likely to win?
Oh yeah, of course. More likely is going to be Drake May.
That's why.
And I understand that.
That's why I think it's because because I know I said this earlier. Yeah. That's why I think it's crazy, because I don't believe this is going to be a blowout game. I think this is going to come down to a drive.
Okay.
Whether Jarrett Stidham's drive comes first or second,
right?
I think he's not going to be able to pull that drive off.
Sure. And I don't think it's crazy that if Drake May has the ball and he's driving and Denver makes a play on defense to seal the game, I think that's how this game's going to go, because I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be a blowout game. I think there's going to be turnovers in this game. How many? Hey, that remains to be seen. All I know is that Drake May, the past 2 weeks, has played two good to great defenses, and he's clearly been careless with the football. And you about to go into somebody else's house playing a defense is just as good as those two defenses you've played the past 2 weeks, and I'm supposed to think that he's going to be clean with the football?
No, what you're expected to think he's going to win the game, because that's all he's proven you that he's going to do.
Okay, no, sure, and that has a lot to do with his team, his defense, like you said, solid defense, all that good stuff. I just think this is a better defense in Denver.
Yeah, but it's a way worse quarterback though.
Sure.
It's a way worse quarterback though.
I get it. Yeah, bro. I get it.
Okay, we won't keep going circular. Let's talk CJ Stroud. Where is CJ Stroud stock right now? It irritates me because it lets me know, as a Pittsburgh fan, how far we have to being a Super Bowl team, a Super Bowl contending team, because he turned the ball over like this in Pittsburgh and got out with the win. He turns the ball over like that in New England, and he doesn't get the win. So it's like, damn, we clearly don't have a franchise quarterback. We got a long way to go before we talking about contending for a Super Bowl. But where does CJ Stroud stock go from here? And let me just throw this out there before you go. Yeah. I don't want to hear that Nico Collins was out excuses. I don't want to hear it.
So I picked the Texans to win this game. I think you did too.
I did too.
Yeah. Okay. His stock, I don't know what's been going on with him. He's had some struggles early this year. I thought his sophomore year definitely wasn't his rookie year. Wasn't his rookie year, but
it was man.
It was okay. It was okay. Yeah. But this year, for some reason, just hasn't, put it all together completely. He did have some good games down the stretch of the regular season, but these two games against Pittsburgh, against the Patriots, these two games, it's wild. I think what frustrates me most about him is that he's not running as much as he did during his rookie year, because he used to take off and run. Not that they would call plays, like run plays for him and stuff like that, but like if nothing was there, he would just take off and run. He hasn't been doing that. In these two games I've watched, he hasn't been doing that. So I don't know, confidence. He lost another pass catcher during that game on Sunday, Dalton Schultz. Mm-hmm. They lost him early in the game.
A major piece, by the way.
Major piece. But I'm of the opinion that this isn't all on CJ Stroud. This game isn't all on him, because I watched pass catchers drop easy passes in this game. Hutchinson, I think, had a couple drops. Christian Kirk had a huge drop in the game also. Like, the easy throws, look, and your quarterback's struggling, right? So if he can get a good throw off, you got to be able to catch that, because otherwise, that defense is going to be all in his face. He's going to make poor choices, bad decisions, and he's going to put the ball in harm's way. So as far as the stock is concerned, right? So and I do agree with D'Amico Ryans to not bench him for the second half, because there was a lot of put Davis Mills in the game, and I understand.
I guess I understand it.
I understand the conversation. I understand if a conversation had to happen at halftime, but in the end, I agree with D'Amico that he's got to play through that. It's the playoffs. I get that the defense is great. I get that it's a championship level defense, and you don't get these opportunities all that often, especially with a defense like that. But you kill the confidence of CJ Stroud if you bench him for the second half of that game. And not only do you kill the confidence, you start having questions about, is this going to be your guy moving forward? Because remember, just like Bryce Young, this is CJ's, the end of CJ's third year. So now he's contract extension eligible. They should, in my opinion, they should pick up the 5th year. If they haven't done so already, they should be picking up that 5th year option out of his contract. Overall, I do think that CJ is their guy moving forward. I don't think that there should be a competition in camp. I don't think that what I really think is that they let go of Bobby Slowick too early. I do think that because
I agree with
that him and Bobby Slowick was cooking those 2 years. So
I agree with that.
I think it has something to that may have something to do with his regression as a quarterback.
But they fired him because they fired him, I gotta assume, based on the regression that CJ Stroud exhibited in the 2nd year. Because like, call it what you want. You know what I'm saying? Some people are afraid to call it a sophomore slump, and if you don't want to call it that, that's up to y'all. But he regressed from year 1 to year 2.
He regressed.
He just did.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And then in year 3, obviously injuries and here we are. But when I meant stock, I meant more so his future. His like I don't think on a D'Amico Ryans coach team there would have been a real conversation after this game and after this playoff run of turnovers and carelessness with the ball that we would say, all of a sudden the Texans are looking for a new quarterback or something like that. I guess what I was getting at in 3 years, and but I do want to. I like to start this conversation early just for the sake of documenting it. Is 2nd overall draft pick. You know what I'm saying? Did what he did. I mean, for all intents and purposes, much like I say, Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams are kind of like a competition there is going to be put together. Same situation I think is going to be for Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. And it was kind of it's almost poetic that he's on his down. He's kind of trending down. CJ Stroud is, and Bryce Young is kind of trending up. I think, is this the guy? Is this still the? Well, no, I think he's still going to be the guy, 10 years from now or 7 years from now. But are we still looking at him like a top 10 quarterback in year 8? Like, is he going to be still a top 10 quarterback? And I'm not saying he's one right now. I'm saying, like, will he, like, trajectory wise, we thinking this guy's going to be one of them ones. Going into year 8, year 9 of his career. Is he still on that trajectory, do you think?
I mean, you're asking me to predict 5 years from now.
Obviously, I am. Yeah. Because if Bryce Young was having this similar success in 3 years, we would be having the same conversation. Jayden Daniels had his rookie year, and we're having that conversation. Is he one of them guys that's going to be one? Caleb Williams is going to have a similar conversation. In the based on his season, so really
there's a sub question in there. So really, there's I'll add a sub question to that too. Is this down bottom for CJ Stroud? My answer to that is no.
I think when you say is this, you mean he can't get worse than this, or you think this is his rock bottom?
No.
This is the lowest he's going to be.
This is the lowest it's going to be.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay,
I think this is the lowest it's going to be for him because, and I know you mentioned the Nico Collins thing and you don't care, and I know you're referring to just the game and how it transpired and stuff, but I do think having those guys, contributes to how well you're going to be as a quarterback too. Like Nico Collins, that first year. We was like, yo, who these niggas? Like Nico Collins, like this is one of them dudes, Tank Dell when he gets back. You know what I'm saying? Like CJ Stroud loved him some Tank Dell. Like you could tell when Tank Dell hurt his leg last year and the emotion that he was showing during the game, like you could tell, like, yo, I miss this guy. This guy's so important to the team. So I think he bounces back. I think year 4, I think he bounces back. I think I mentioned this last week. Like this may not be saying much, but this is this is the best era of Texans football in their franchise history. They've been to the playoffs 3 years in a row. They've won a playoff game every year they've been there. And it's DeMeco Ryans who's the best head coach in the history of their franchise. So I think collectively as a whole, franchise, quarterback, head coach, they're on their way. They're gonna be all right. Defense, I think, is gonna be okay. I don't know that I question whether this defense is gonna be as good as this year. Maybe a notch down a bit from this year, but I think overall they're gonna be dominant. Right.
Yeah, the defense will still be dominant as long as they hold on this year in Stingley and really Lassiter too. Lassiter is
Lassiter, he's good. I like him. I like him.
And then obviously holding on. I mean, I don't know how long Danielle Hunter is going to be this good. You know, he's not young.
Yeah. Right,
you know what I'm saying?
If you're the Texans, you make no changes in terms of who you got on your roster right now.
No need to. Unless it's money, you know, there's no need to change up these main pieces.
Yeah, no. And I get it. Every year it ends at the divisional round. I get it. But keep that thing going. I mean, to me, if you're the Texans, keep it going.
Yeah, I think what I'm doing, and I mean, and I meant it. Like, I'm not shooting him no bill. Like, the turnovers are the turnovers. I guess some of them was off the hands of receivers.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, you got to be better. You got to be better than that. I mean, truthfully, you got to be better than what you was in Pittsburgh, and you blew us the fuck out. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to be better. Just is what it is, bro. Like you getting ready to be the future, you know, the future ones in this AFC battle. I mean, you that new crop underneath the Josh Allen, you know, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. You're under that. You're the next coming up under that tree. And
but he better get it together soon because Bo Nix and Drake May are coming.
Yeah, right. Because they're kind of together. Yeah, and you know, for as much as you saying about Drake May. This is year 2 for Drake May. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you still kind of doing the similar things to Drake May. And we kind of expecting a little more from you as, you know, watchers of the game. We expecting a little more from CJ Stroud than we are from Drake May.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah,
facts.
So I won't go as far as, we just know we you know, black man to another black man that want to see a black man succeed in the NFL, bro, and don't want to see you get your black coach fired. Yeah, we need you to step that up, man.
Yeah.
We need you to step that up. We need to step that.
For sure. That up. For sure, man. And I'm just seeing something here. Maybe this is spam, or maybe this is one of those fake accounts on Twitter. But Lane Kiffin strongly considering the Steelers head coach opening.
Probably. Yeah, Scott. I hope that's Scott sources. Well, but since you made me pick up my phone, Mike McDaniels is going to be the Chargers offensive coordinator.
That's right, because they fired Greg Roman.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mike,
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I kind of like that. I kind of like that for the Chargers.
Yeah, I like that for Mike McDaniels.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I like it more for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And Amari Hampton comes back healthy. Najee Harris comes back healthy, even though I don't know what that's going to look like for him next year. Because Amari Hampton is serviceable. Like we can go find somebody else for cheaper. And it's not like they're paying a whole bunch of money for Najee Harris, but you know, I wonder what that's going to look like for Najee Harris.
Right. So. Yeah. All right. So another coaching candidate off the board then.
I do love that. I like that for Mike McDaniels.
It's a good spot. It's a good spot for him.
Sit under John or Jim for a little for a couple of years. Whoever.
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim. Okay, thank you. Because you knew I was fucking it up.
John is in New York.
Yeah. You know, sit under a Harbaugh, man. Get some game about, and maybe you show out, you get another coaching opportunity. But go ahead and sit down for a second, bro.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, for him. I like that for the Chargers.
I've tried to tell people about Greg Roman. I know, you know, he'll get a job and it'll look good the first couple of years, and then it just kind of all falls to crap. So, yeah, Chargers did right. They did right with that move for sure. So championship weekend, man. I think I think I know where you stand on the Super Bowl, Patriots and Seahawks.
Yeah.
So Broncos Rams. Broncos Rams is where I'm at. Broncos Rams is where I'm at. Even though I don't think that's the sexier matchup, I think the more sexier one is New England and Los Angeles. I think is the more sexier one because you got the two quarterbacks that were, MVP conversations and all that stuff, and that's and I guess that's a rematch too. That's a Super Bowl. That will be the third time they faced each other in the Super Bowl.
I really do regret both niggas getting injured, man. Like I really do despise that for this AFC Championship game, man.
Yeah, I hate it.
I hate it. Yeah, I know. You feel like it, and I do too. Feel like it's going to be close, but again, it's just going to be that situation when asses get tight, and Jarrett Stidham is not going to be able to keep up with Drake May, though. It's just I just don't believe it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and so
and let's be clear. I can see the game being played out that way. I can if that happens, I'm not going to be shocked about it. I'm not going to be shocked about it.
It's just that you clearly see Denver winning by way of turnover turned into 6 points. You know what I'm saying? Like that
defense.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Like a defensive score though is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I think you know what I'm saying. Or a defensive turnover where it's like literally you got
20 yards away.
You know what I'm saying?
20 yards away, something like that.
Something, yeah. Where I see it being a situation where either Jarrett Stidham is going to, or the Broncos offense is going to score with time for Drake May to win it, or Drake May winning it and then scoring early with a situation where Jarrett Stidham has to throw the ball. And if Jarrett Stidham has to throw the ball, that's not going to go well for the Broncos. That's the way I see the game going.
Okay.
And that's why, and that's, So, okay. So that's where that falls for me as far as that game. I really regret because that would have been a hell of an AFC Championship, Bo Nix versus Drake May, going back and forth like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes does. That would have been a hell of a game. Yeah,
that draft class last year, Nix and Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, like that
on the AFC and the NFC.
Right. Like that's gonna be a class that's gonna be talked about for a while.
I'm really, if the Commanders get their shit together, they got to get younger.
And I know why you say that. I know why you say
that. They got to get younger. They got to get younger. They can't keep doing this old veterans and no dominant pass rushers. And I know people like Krosky Merritt, but I don't know if he's a dominant. If he's going to grow to be one of them backs. You know what I'm saying? Like this, and then they still got to deal with Philadelphia right now.
Yeah,
and they still got to deal with Philadelphia right now. Sidebar, and I know we got to go.
Yep.
We put Jalen Hurts a lot in that top 10 conversation, but obviously after the loss, it's been a lot of that conversation recirculating. Do you think he's a top 10 quarterback? Yes or no?
Yes. Easy. Yeah.
I'll leave you with your thoughts. I say no.
Yeah. You say no? Okay.
Right now, I say no.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's something we could revisit next week for sure.
No need. I mean, if you remember it, we'll do it. But I'm sure we'll, Okay.
Yeah. I know. There's the discourse.
Yeah. That's a long conversation, and it's not a vehement. Like I'm not vehemently against. You know how I feel about Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. Like I like him. He's a good quarterback. I just don't think he's a top 10 quarterback.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We'll see. How you see Rams and Seahawks playing out? Obviously, you got Seahawks winning.
I got the Seahawks, but how do I see the game going?
Close. Yeah, close game, blowout.
I think the defense. I think, and I know this sounds crazy. I almost sound as crazy as you, as far as the whole Caleb Williams. But I think Sam Darnold is going to prove, hey, this is not a fluke. I'm a good quarterback. I'm a quarterback to be reckoned with. I'm a quarterback to be talked about. Now, I'm not saying thrust him in the top 10 conversation, off of these
Yeah,
past 2
sure.
years. But am I confident putting him at 13 right now? I'm very confident putting him at 13 right now without making a ranking. I'm just throwing a number out there.
I'll say it's a risky. I'll say it's a risky prediction for Sam Darnold. I'm just going back to, because this is part 3. Let's remember this is part 3.
Yep.
And against this particular team, he has not played well against. I think 7 turnovers in 3 games.
But he also had that second half comeback.
He definitely did.
He
definitely did. He definitely did when he had to do so. I think the Rams, just know how to play this team offensively, and I think it's gonna be close. I do think it's gonna be close. And I just think we gonna get one of the Matthew Stafford classics, man. I really think. I mean, if anything, that whatever week game that was in Seattle, if anything, that game is kind of got to come to mind. Like, yo, we know we let one slip here a few weeks ago. We got to get our lick back. So I got the Rams winning.
It's also in Seattle.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Once upon a time, the 12th man.
Look, I am perfectly at peace with anybody but the Patriots winning the Super Bowl this year. I am at peace with the results here, as long as it's not the Patriots.
Well, lucky for you, Trey, is with everything that has precluded. I got the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, you got them winning the whole thing. Okay,
I do now. I definitely do. I had Buffalo. I had Buffalo at first, but Buffalo out of it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Look, that's not crazy, bro. That's a good defense. We talking about defenses all episode, but that Seahawks defense is a really good one. So yeah, no, I could see Seattle winning it, but I think the better story would be for Stafford and McVay to get their second one together, and what that would mean.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, and what that would mean for them, moving forward.
Meaning Matthew Stafford retire, just ride off.
Yeah, that part of it, and look, first ballot Hall of Famer, man.
Yeah, one. I mean,
because I had him as a Hall of Famer. I had him as a Hall of Famer. Not necessarily first ballot, but if he gets the second one, it's no question.
Yeah, you put him. Ballot. Yeah, it's only so many people that did it. So
and then for McVay, it puts him in another category of coaches, I believe, in terms of some of the greatest head coaches in the history of the sport. So there's implications for both those guys.
No argument.
Yeah, it'd be a good story. I'd like to see them get a second one.
Nah, fuck all that. Get that thing. Fuck all that. My prediction is way more
for prediction purposes.
Way more important than history. I don't give a fuck about history when it comes to me being right about sports takes.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate the live chats. Appreciate IG Live. Appreciate everybody tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and on Twitch as well. Continue to follow us on those platforms. And also, if you got questions, comments, hit us up on email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And then write a review if you listen to us on the audio side, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play. Let us know what you think about the show. It definitely goes a long way. So love, peace, and happiness to everybody out there. We'll be back next week. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh, yeah, we got him. Trey Frazier and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.